Hello everyone, it is me. And before we get into this review, I just wanted to say that recently I posted on my Instagram, which none of you follow, shame on you, that I'm working on a review of the 1990 Captain America film. And that review is very much still in the works. It is a very hard film to watch, so please bear with me. But I put myself through it for the sake of all of you good people. Anyway, I just saw Guy Ritchie's Aladdin, and it conflicts me. There are a lot of things that this film has going for it, and a lot that really put a sour taste in my mouth. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a little outspoken against these Disney remakes, as I find them to be tired retellings of stories that were already, for the most part, perfect. But Aladdin was one that I really enjoyed as a kid, and it's been the only one so far that's really got me curious. Right, on to the review. So obviously it's Aladdin. Everybody and their Robin Williams loving grandmother has seen and enjoyed the film. Sure, the cast is, oh wow, that's a whole lot of white people. Less than ethnically accurate, but at the same time, it's just seen as pure voice acting, as long as the drawn characters weren't offensive stereotypes, you know? The film more or less stays on track with the original, as it is a remake. There are some elements that are added in and some that are taken away. What felt weird in the beginning was that the character buildup of Aladdin and Jasmine that took the original film 1/4 of the runtime to make was accomplished right off the bat. Aladdin jumps in and meets the princess almost immediately. Kinda weird. Anyways, Jafar is a mean bad guy with an Arabian chicken and wants to find someone that can go into the Lion Cave of Wonders without being eaten by the big sand kitty. He finds Aladdin and uses him to venture into the cave to steal a lamp. Is there any point in me explaining this? Aladdin gets the lamp, Abu the oh god CGI monkey ruins it, and they are trapped until he rubs it and you see Will Smith's genie. More about him later, I have a lot to say. Aladdin uses the genie to become a prince, go into the palace, sweep Jasmine off her feet, and then they both get trapped by Jafar, but because of the gray areas that go into genie magic, Jafar poops on his own plan and then things are fine, and Jasmine and Aladdin get married and stuff. Then that leads into a strange Bollywood-esque dance number at the end of the film that wasn't really bad, but had some weird things. Right off the bat, I want to say that I enjoyed the production design of this film. The color palette was absolutely stunning, and it made the film super vibrant. It also added the feeling of culture as well, seeing that the Middle East isn't exactly a sandy wasteland full of bad guys that America likes to think it is. The costumes in the film were perfect. Some were directly crafted from the original film, and a lot of them were new designs, particularly on Princess Jasmine, who had somewhere around 9 different costume changes. They were period accurate and left little else to be desired. Something that I figured would happen was that I really enjoyed Will Smith's genie, and I thought that he gave the character justice and a new breath of fresh air. Obviously, he had some pretty large shoes to fill, as the late Robin Williams played the character in the original film. Smith got a lot of internet hate for accepting this role, but to that I say, well, you know, he's an actor. These characters can be played by different actors and interpreted in many different ways, good and bad. What do you think, Robin Williams is the only person that can play the genie? Do you think that's fair in the age of live-action reboots? Would you prefer that they CGI Williams back from the grave? Shame on you. Anyway, the character was a fun element of the film, and I actually think that the film picked up for me when he was introduced. In the original Aladdin, it's very jarring to go from a charming but slightly dark children's movie before Genie's introduction, and then be thrown into this wacky world of, oh hey, it's me, Robin Williams, obscure impressions and slapstick jokes. For me, this film actually got better with Smith's character. That being said, there's some other stuff about him that we'll get onto. Also, Nasim Pedrad's character was completely hilarious and charming. Sometimes I wish she was actually Princess Jasmine, though I know that the studio probably wanted to go with a younger and more current actor, even though Pedrad would have nailed it. I think she nailed this character too. Okay, here we go. I did not like the pacing of this film very much. We were fast-forwarded into trying to develop both Aladdin and Jasmine, and if we hadn't already had the previous versions of these characters, it would have felt a little more forced than it already was. The acting in particular honestly wasn't great. I felt like during a lot of the song performances, the actors were very aware of trying to make their facial expressions as attractive and emotional as possible, but mixed with the odd editing choice of speeding up and slowing down character movements, it felt like one long TikTok video. The music was also heavily auto-tuned, and it's obvious, as it has been for a lot of these remakes, that we are hiring on fame versus talent. Real shame. The comedy in this film was really hit or miss. I found myself laughing at a lot of the Iago stuff as well as the things that Will Smith said, but that ongoing bit about the jams, give it a rest, bud. Like really, it's kind of funny at first, but when you make it to the end of the film and they're still like, the jams, remember? It's just really tired. Jafar was okay, but he lacked a lot of development as well. In the original, he was the big, obvious bad guy with a clear motive and a clear backstory, but in this, he felt watered down and less threatening. Same with the Sultan, Jasmine's father. I feel in the original he was the fun father character. He was short and full of energy, but also a wise instructor and a caring dad. In this, he's stoic, tired, and doesn't seem like he wants to be there at all. May as well have been played by Harrison Ford.
Also, here I am with Harrison Ford.
There was a particular musical number that Jasmine had thrown in towards the climax of the film, where she sings about not being silenced or put down. It's a message that the original character conveyed, which is what made her so great, but the song was not good. It felt like a modern throwaway flavor of the month pop song that any drab radio station could have played, and it was thrown into a film full of old, well-crafted Disney songs. It took me out of the film completely, and it was a while before I could go back in. Also, some of the CGI wasn't great, which is a little disappointing considering that after The Life of Pi, animation houses have mastered animal rendering. But it felt like we went back a step on this one. Also, why did they impose Will Smith's head on a half-buff, half-dad-bod guy when his normal physique would have been just fine? I really don't see why that's necessary. I mean, I know it's resembling the old cartoon, but it was a cartoon! And this is supposedly live action. If you're going to cut down how animated the Wacky Genie was in the Prince Ali number, maybe take some more liberties with the character. Maybe it's noticeable that I keep saying in the original in reference to the film that is being remade. I keep going back on this 92 classic because it feels like it's important to ask why we need these remakes in the first place. Disney's non-remake films that they've been pushing out lately have been less than successful, and a lot of these remakes are moderately to not very well received by critics alike, yet everybody keeps throwing their money at them, going to the cinemas to sit down and watch them because it's what we're used to. Just remember next time that you're watching one of these, how magical it was to see for the first time, and how nostalgic it feels to rewatch them and hear the music again. However, don't let that distract you when you're trying to figure out whether or not you actually liked the film.